We need to work with the people. We need to work with the community. They need to know exactly what's going on. And also, like I told you before, we need to work on workshops with the people. That's my recommendation.
I'd like to say, the last time, this is a difficult issue that's been said. I mean, recreation and parks they have to be on the top of our list for our community members. One of the things, I fervently believe this. I don't think that we're here to implement more taxes to our citizens. I think they elect us, and quite just as a point of interest, those that were proponents of this tax the last time aren't sitting up here. We have new council, and those that were running for re-election, they were the major proponents of this tax. So I don't think that we should be taxing our citizens for what they expect from us. They expect that we provide decent parks. They expect that we provide at least mowing the lawn and taking the weeds and to have public areas that look nice and to have programs that help kids as they grow and help them get involved in the sports. One thing that's of interest to me is I think the PAL program, as we've seen a lot of victories and a lot of successes that they've had, they in a sense appear to be the most well-funded recreation program that the city has. Yet they're not a city department. So I don't understand why we can't sit down and leverage what the recreation department has and what it's been doing and the programs that they're implementing and work with PAL and the chief that's standing there, because obviously they're having some successes and there's a lot of kids involved in that. There's probably more kids involved in PAL than there are through our recreation department. And I haven't seen numbers of how many kids and families go through that particular department, but I think now that Sandra, has taken on that responsibility, maybe we need to sit down and analyze this, because, again, as I say, PAL seems to be the most well-funded recreation department, and it's not our department. So we're missing the boat here somewhere. So I would say, let's look at all our avenues before we implement something like this measure, at least for now. I mean, we could put back a measure at any time, and we could put back a measure when it doesn't cost us on the general election. So if we can exhaust every venue that we have right now, because I think would be the most prudent thing to do, especially in our economic situation. And I think the easiest thing for us to do is to say, well, yeah, let's tax our citizens more so we can pay for what they've been asking for. But again, they expect these things to be done. So that's my opinion. We have members of the audience. Would you like to state your name?
Okay, my name is Calexico, and as I mentioned later, I'm not a native Spanish. Mi nombre es Calexico, soy miembro del grupo de los Titanes de la comunidad que hemos estado trabajando durante 4 años tratando de obtener el cuarto de emergencia para Calexico. Le pido de urgencia tener un foro público para la comunidad donde los miembros de la comunidad puedan asistir y darles a los miembros del concilio información acerca de lo que quiere la comunidad incluir como parte de la iniciativa de impuesto de venta. Nosotros como grupo de los titanes de la comunidad nos gustaría que el concilio de la ciudad de Calexico considerara tomarnos en cuenta como parte de la iniciativa del impuesto de venta fondos para apoyar servicios relacionados para la salud de emergencia y servicios médicos, por ejemplo, fondos para ayudar a los servicios de ambulancia, para ayudar en la inscripción para todos los niños de Calexico en familias saludables, programas de medical que provee aseguranza de salud y pagar los médicos, servicios de hospital y medicina. También fondos para investigación para obtener información de cómo podemos tener un servicio de cuarto de emergencia en Calexico, especialmente desde que tenemos de 10 a 14 ambulancias trabajando para el cuarto de emergencias del centro y el número crecerá, así como la población de Calexico aumenta cada día más. Investigar si nosotros podemos tener un hospital de convalecientes junto con un cuarto de emergencias. Fondos para ayudar a la comunidad de Calexico con otros estudios donde servicios de salud puedan ser coordinados y nuevos servicios puedan ser traídos a nuestra comunidad. Yo entiendo que necesitamos más parques de recreación y centros de artes, pero también necesitamos proveer servicios que ayudará a salvar vidas y mejorar nuestra salud y dar a nuestras familias a tener una mejor calidad de vida y servicios a salud. El esta carta se la estoy enviando con el propósito de que ustedes traten de buscar una solución a los problemas que estamos enfrentando ahora que estamos teniendo recortes muy dramáticos en cuanto a la salud. Se está recortando el seguro social, equipo de primera necesidad para las personas que tienen muchas complicaciones. Entonces, si van a hacer van a cobrar impuestos a las personas, por favor consideren las prioridades, las necesidades de las personas. Entendemos que se necesitan parques de recreación, pero también hay que balancear lo que la gente necesita y qué es más importante de una cosa o la otra.
Muchas gracias, señora Quesada. Nomás para la información, esta misma petición se cobró por 20 años, creo. How long was that for your hospital tax? 20 years? 15, 20 years, something like that? La comunidad ya pagó. La comunidad estuvo pagando 25 centavos en cada compra por 20 años. Y se llama Heffernan Hospital. No se hizo nada.
No sé,
Esto que está pidiendo ahorita.
Queremos que ustedes traten de buscar una solución a este problema. Nosotros simplemente estamos viendo opciones, formas de que ustedes nos puedan ayudar. No estamos pidiendo que hagan esto, sino que busquen una solución, busquen la forma de cómo poder proveer esos servicios a la gente que necesite. Entonces, necesitamos también la colaboración de ustedes y también busquen a las personas, escuchen lo que están pidiendo ellos también, no nomás enfocarse en una sola cosa.
I would like to move, as we heard the comments by all the council members, it's a difficult time, but if we don't do it now, we're never going to do it. We're never going to do it. We're never going to have the money to do it. You're going to have people talking about that. We need to start somehow. We're very limited in time. If we don't put this on the measure right now, we won't be able to do the second reading, and therefore we will miss an opportunity to give a chance to the voter to say, it's not us who are making the decision, it's the voters, is the ultimate. And by law, every tax that you increase, you have to put it in front of the voters. So if the community, and I agree with Mr. Castro, yes, we are going to do PR. Yes, we are going to have workshop. Yes, we are going to show them the project. If you run, as a candidate, you mentioned, recreation. We need more recreation. We need those things. Yes, I agree with you. We need those things. Let's do it. If we're not going to give that opportunity to the voters, we're never going to get it done. So I make a motion that we move to allow this measure to be on the ballot. That's my motion. I'll second it.
We have a motion, second for discussion.
If I may, real quick, and actually I'm very in support of that. What I guess I'm going to try to do what the Special Finances Committee is going to try and do is to try to convince two people that this ballot is very important to us. And it helps with public safety in several different ways. First thing is that I have to tell you that, and we've been embarrassed by the lady that came and showed us the videos of our pictures of our parks and the condition of our parks. And we need more locations for youth to be able to spend their energy. Right now we have people who complain because skateboarders are up and down their front of their houses, they're breaking all things. They don't have a place to go. The Heffernan Hospital itself is a playground for the kids in that neighborhood because there's no park in the area. Juvenile delinquency starts because of that, the lack of locations to have good, healthy sports. Right? And we also have a waiting list at the city level for to be able to use softball fields, baseball fields, because we have more teams than we have fields to be able to practice in. So I can tell you from the juvenile delinquency aspect, it's very important to have areas where you can have youth sports and have youth athletics. And we've already talked about the lack of another pool and those kind of things. We have a perfect location where the armory is now to be able to have a recreation center, a supervised recreation center for our children. Aside from that, by passing this and sending it to the voters, and should it become law that it happens, those funds will be there to support recreation, which means that a lot of the money that goes to support recreation now will be funded out of this incentive here, rather than out of the general fund, which frees up money for fire